It was supposed to be just another walk to clear his head. The salty wind from the harbor swept through the narrow boardwalk, carrying with it the faint smell of fried fish from the vendor stalls. Seagulls circled overhead, squawking over scraps. Tourists clustered near souvenir shops, their laughter mingling with the distant hum of a boat engine. Michael Foster moved through it all, hands in his pockets, letting the rhythm of the place calm his restless mind. He'd walked this path hundreds of times before. It was familiar, unchanging, until it wasn't. Ahead of him, a small boy darted out from behind a seafood cart, his sneakers slapping against the wooden planks as he laughed. He was no older than 6, maybe 7, but it wasn't the sound of his laugh that froze Michael in place, it was his face. Michael's heart slammed in his chest. The boy's stormy blue eyes, the dimple in his left cheek, the way his brow furrowed slightly when he looked up at the woman walking beside him, all of it was like staring into a mirror of his own childhood photographs. And the woman holding the boy's hand? She was the last person Michael ever thought he'd see again. Claire Bennett. Her hair was shorter now, the long waves replaced by a sharp bob, but her amber brown eyes still held the same mix of warmth and guarded distance. She hadn't seen him yet. She was laughing at something the boy had said. Adjusting the grocery bag in her arm, Michael's breath caught in his throat. Because there was no mistaking it, the boy looked exactly like him. Before we dig deeper into this shocking story, kindly hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so you never miss real stories that reveal the darkest truths and biggest betrayals. Which country are you watching from? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Claire? The name was out of his mouth before he could think. Her head jerked up, eyes locking with his. For a moment, time seemed to pause. The grocery bag in her hand shifted, almost slipping. Her smile vanished, replaced by a look Michael had never seen from her before. Something between fear and guilt. She didn't say his name back. Instead, she glanced down at the boy. "Evan, honey, let's go." Michael took a step forward. "Claire, wait." She didn't. She tightened her grip on the boy's hand and started walking quickly, her heels tapping against the wood. Michael followed, weaving through the crowd. "Claire, please." But she didn't slow down. She cut into a narrow alley between 2 buildings, pulling the boy along. By the time Michael reached it, they were gone. He stood there, scanning both ends of the alley, heart racing. Only the sound of a distant door closing told him she had slipped away. That night, sleep was impossible. Michael sat at his kitchen table with a cup of coffee gone cold, staring at the steamless surface as if it might give him answers. Claire had left 6.5 years ago without warning. One night she was in his arms, telling him about a new photography project she wanted to start, and the next morning she was gone. All she left was a note on his kitchen counter. "I'm sorry. Don't look for me." He had looked. He'd called every friend she had, searched online, even drove to cities she'd once mentioned wanting to live in. Nothing. Eventually, he told himself to stop. Everyone said she didn't want to be found. He believed them, or at least pretended to. Now here she was, with a boy who had his eyes. Michael couldn't let it go. He went back to the boardwalk every morning at the same time, scanning faces, hoping for another sighting. On the 3rd day, luck or fate gave him one. Claire and the boy were leaving a bakery, a paper bag in her hand. Michael didn't call her name this time. He followed at a distance, keeping to the side streets. She walked several blocks to a small white house with peeling shutters. She checked over her shoulder before unlocking the door and disappearing inside with the boy. That night, Michael pulled up public property records. The house was under the name Claire Matthews, her mother's maiden name. Evan's birth certificate listed no father. Michael stared at the screen for a long time, the cursor blinking in silent accusation. It was a rainy Thursday when Michael finally saw his chance. Claire was walking alone, umbrella shielding her from the drizzle. He stepped out from under a cafe awning. "Claire," he said, blocking her path. Her eyes darted left, then right. "Michael, you shouldn't be here." "I shouldn't?" "You disappeared, Claire, and now I see you with a boy who—" "Stop." She looked around as if someone might be listening. "Not here." "Then where?" A pause, then tonight, 8 o'clock. The pier. The pier was nearly deserted. The sound of waves slapping against the wooden posts filling the gaps between their words. Is he mine? Michael's voice was low, steady, but his hands were clenched at his sides. Claire gripped the railing, knuckles white. Michael, you don't understand. Then make me understand. Her voice broke. I left because it wasn't safe. For either of us. He frowned. Safe from what? She leaned closer. The night I left, I overheard something. Your father's company wasn't just business. They were laundering money for people you don't want to know about. Dangerous people. Michael felt the air leave his lungs. What does that have to do with you? They knew we were together, and when I realized I was pregnant, her voice trembled. I couldn't risk them finding out. If they knew about Evan, they'd use him. I had to disappear. Over the next week, small things began to happen that felt anything but small. A black SUV parked across from Michael's apartment for hours. Claire's mailbox was forced open. Evan mentioned a man asking him his name outside the school. Michael's protective instincts ignited. This isn't random, he told her. They know you're here. Claire bit her lip. Then we have to leave again. No, his jaw tightened. Running won't solve this. I'm going to find out who's behind it. Michael reached out to an old friend in the FBI. The truth was worse than he imagined. Yes, the company had been a front for smuggling and money laundering. Yes, his father had been in deep with organized crime. And yes, the man now running things, Victor Kane, had a reputation for cleaning up loose ends permanently. They had two options: disappear completely or go to the authorities. Claire was terrified of the second, until Evan came home one afternoon with a bruise on his arm and said quietly, "A man grabbed me." That was the breaking point. They contacted Michael's friend, who arranged for witness protection in exchange for testimony and evidence. The night before they left, Michael stood in Evan's room. The boy was asleep, his hand curled near his cheek. Michael swallowed hard. He'd missed the first 6 years of his son's life. He wasn't going to miss another second. 3 months later, in a quiet Midwestern town, Michael watched Evan ride his bike in the driveway while Claire sipped coffee beside him. They weren't safe forever, but for now they were together. And for Michael, that was enough. Thanks for watching. If you were in Claire's shoes, would you have left without telling Michael? Do you think she was right to hide Evan's paternity for so long? And what would you have done if you saw a child who looked exactly like you? Let me know in the comments section. If this story left you speechless, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We tell real stories that reveal the darkest truths and the people strong enough to survive them.